Critical Role Campaign 4 is working even better than expected. D&D doubles down on Dark Sun and Dragonlance, and the new game brings big Monster Hunter vibes without all the baggage.
Enlighten me.
Before we break down how Campaign 4 has revitalized Critical Role and D&D's big plans for 2026, why not take a second to hit those like and subscribe buttons? It's free, it only takes a second, and it really does help us keep making these videos. And then, let's dive into the news. Critical Role is ending its 10th year anniversary on a massive high note, seemingly gaining back all the viewers they may have shed with the somewhat divisive Campaign 3 and many more, with the incredibly successful start of Campaign 4. The YouTube VODs for the first 9 episodes are all either well over 1 million views or tracking on their way to hitting that mark any day now, despite the fact that Critical Role has its own ad-free beacon platform to watch them on now, which is quite remarkable. As is the live stream viewership on YouTube, which has remained extremely high for the first 9 episodes, averaging over 30,000 viewers during this initial run of the 4 introductory episodes and the 5 Soldiers Table episodes we've seen so far. The Soldier Table episode viewership itself is kind of record-breaking in another very critical way as well, as it's by far the best sustained viewership they've gotten on a campaign that didn't feature most of the main cast since the original EXU Calamity, which also occurred back before the Beacon platform existed. So not only is the show drawing in strong ratings on YouTube in a world where thousands and thousands of fans are watching on Beacon instead, it's doing so without most of the main cast present, which was the huge gamble at the very core of Critical Role Campaign 4. In fact, their YouTube channel has seen over 50,000 subscribers added every month since the launch of Campaign 4, which is another huge growth indicator that they hadn't seen since those early Campaign 3 and pre-Beacon days. The cast is getting some much needed time off, fans seem to be very happy with these longer arcs of the various tables as these soldiers prepare to level up before their 6th session in a row, and growth seems to be up across every platform for the first time in many months. The new cast members are also captivating the audience, which was another huge risk Critical Role took, as Tyranny, Octus, and Azune are all becoming more and more compelling, but with live stream and VOD viewership on YouTube hitting huge numbers despite the existence of the Critical Role created Beacon alternative, and with the subscriber numbers now surging, all with most of the cast remaining off screen and Matt Mercer not sitting behind the DM screen, it seems that as the 10th anniversary of Critical Role comes to an end, they have finally found a way to reinvent the actual play that fans in the cast seem to truly love.
Hell f***ing yes!
Speaking of ending the year on a high note, Dungeons & Dragons have been having a rough time yet again in 2025, with a lot of their top names abandoning ship to work at rivals like Darrington Press or Chaosium, and death of the Sigil VTT that was supposed to be a core part of D&D's future, and the lack of overall releases and big delays on products like the now finally available Eberron Forge of the Artificer rulebook. But the last few weeks have given fans a lot of reason to be hopeful that 2026 will be a much, much better year, thanks mainly to 2 other D&Ds, namely Dark Sun and Dragonlance. The Dark Sun trademark being renewed by Wizards of the Coast just a few weeks back, along with all the hints found inside the 2024 rulebooks, have made it clear that the once impossible dream of Dark Sun returning to D&D as a campaign setting seems to finally be happening, and it will now almost certainly be joined by Dragonlance as well. Not only were actor and Dragonlance TV show evangelist Joe Manganiello and the authors themselves, Tracy Hickman and Margaret Weiss, shown touring the D&D headquarters with the new head of Dungeons & Dragons, Dan Ayub, with Joe even posting his version of the photo with the text, "We're back," but the D&D social media account actually honored the 3rd anniversary of the much maligned Shadow of the Dragon Queen set, and started pushing the product again after spending about the last year and a half pretending it basically never happened. That means that 2 iconic D&D settings that are the home to adventures and novels that brought in a huge wave of Dungeons & Dragons fans into the game in the first place are most likely heading back to our tabletops in 2026. And in the case of Dragonlance, possibly even to our TV screens as well. So while 2025 may have been full of bleak moments for the D&D brand, if they do continue to lean into their other D&D, Dark Sun and Dragonlance, chances are we could have a massive turnaround for 2026.
Everyone loves a good comeback story, right?
And finally, if you're a Monster Hunter fan bummed out about the cancellation of the Monster Hunter Secret Lair drop, you can scratch that monster slaying, item crafting itch with the new Cloudheim game, available on PC, Xbox, and PS5. We received a review copy to try out last week, and we have to admit that the game has been a very pleasant surprise, giving us big Monster Hunter vibes while also changing up the format enough to be fun and unique. Item crafting and hunting monsters across set levels still exists, but you build your own crafting station in your Sky Island home base instead of running around a Monster Hunter outpost or town. And you can change up and evolve not only your equipment, but also your character's abilities, so you can kind of tailor the playstyle a bit more to your liking without just tweaking a weapon. Add in a vibrant, semi-cel-shaded art style and 1 to 4 player co-op, and we wound up sinking more time into the game than we expected. While it doesn't have a big overarching storyline like Monster Hunter to drive the narrative forward, the gameplay is pretty addictive with more fluid movement and combat that does seem a bit less clunky, although many Monster Hunter fans may argue that the clunkiness is actually built in and part of the challenge of the game. But if you're looking for a fun fantasy action adventure where you can smash monsters and craft up incredible gear this holiday season, we'd give Cloudheim a very solid 4 out of 5 stars. And that's all we have this week for Tabletop News Tuesday. Let us know what your favorite story was down in the comment section, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.